Entering Kenmore. Doors will open on the left.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 42 of Entering Kenmore. I am David Azer alongside Zach Coe. Zach, an interesting week for the Red Sox. We saw them lose Alex Bregman. We did our initial breakdown on that, and it was very depressing. And then as you are flying home, I think you were over the Atlantic Ocean as this news dropped. The Red Sox signed left-handed starter Ranger Suarez to a 5-year, $30 million contract. It's an interesting signing because I think we came into this offseason, we knew we needed a number 2. And for a while, we were heading into next season being like, is Sonny Gray really the number 2? So they do go out and they address the rotation and kind of bolster that staff. But one of the most interesting things to me about this deal is it's not the typical build from a starter you would see Craig Breslow target. He's 6'1", like 215 or something like that. And typically
217.
So typically he goes after those Garrett Crochet, those Peyton Tolley builds where they're like 6'5", 250. So a bit of an interesting deal here. One that I think I like a lot. Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, I was off the coast of Greenland, soon to be America's Greenland, obviously. I honestly, so I didn't even get the text or I didn't get the notification first because my Wi-Fi was being weird, but I got a bunch of texts and I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Because we come on here every 10 or so days since the off season started and largely nothing. And I go to France for 1 week, and Craig Breslow decides to lose Alex Bregman and then sign Ranger Suarez. It really is something that they just chose to do their only 2 moves of the offseason while I was across the pond, as they say, in the New York City of Europe, Paris, France, and that is derogatory.
Yeah, I know you weren't a big fan of France in general, which we can definitely unpack as this episode unfolds. But going back to Suarez, it's interesting because you wanted to see them spend money. Like they were the last team to sign a free agent. But I also don't know how thrilled the vast majority of Red Sox fans are when you're bolstering your rotation, but you're not seemingly doing nothing to address your offense that is now missing Alex Bregman. And if the offseason ended today, the Red Sox head into spring training with this team, I think there's the Seattle Mariners of the East. Like that's just, and the Mariners have a better offense right now on paper.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to feel super confident if this is the final team.
No, and it's like we kind of heard in the Bregman fallout, they're like, oh, they're going heavy run prevention now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where they're pivoting to. Like they're talking big arms, and like the guys, Bradfo said, like the guys I'm hearing are like legitimate 1Bs, which is their own words for how they said they were going to attack the off season. So like they should be looking at legitimate 1Bs. And I know when we did the Sonny Gray emergency episode, we were like, is this really the number 2? And we kind of were talking through it, and it was like, okay, like he's not the 1B or 1A or whatever you want to call it to Garrett Crochet, but like you kind of started to rationalize it in your head, like, okay, he's kind of the reverse Lucas Giolito. The peripherals look a lot better than the surface numbers look like they view him, and that's how we've all started viewing things, is in how they view it, because this front office doesn't view everything the same way that a normal person would, and they don't give a shit that they don't do that. But this is the true 1B to Crochet's 1A, or again, however you want to put it. Like you said, he doesn't check off a lot of the normal boxes that we see in a Breslow target. Like you said, 6'1", 217, 29th percentile extension. The strikeout rate is middle of the pack, 55%. Or 55th percentile, rather. The whiff percentage, 24th percentile, only 22.2% in the fastball velo. Was all the way down at 7th percentile, averaging 90.5 on the 4-seam. So it's just, it's not your typical profile, but the results really haven't, they've been there for Suarez. Last year, 157 innings, 3.20 ERA in 26 starts. He's also a beast in the playoffs. I'll get those numbers up in front of me shortly, but like they must see something in Suarez that they think they can tick up, whether it be the velocity, something to generate more swing and miss, something to tick the strikeouts up, or even something to help with the extension. Because when you're talking about giving a guy a 5-year, $130 million deal on top of paying the qualifying offer penalties, which is a second round pick, a fourth or fifth round
I
pick,
think fifth.
and fifth round pick, and then $1 million in international pool space. Like that's a big price to pay for a guy who doesn't really fit the mold, and also durability concerns. Like I said, 153rd innings this year was his career high by 2 innings or so. So we'll see how much he can give you. I mean, obviously, when you have a guy like Sonny Gray, who should be a consistent, I don't want to say 200 inning guy because not very many people are nowadays, but he should get you pretty close to 200. Then you know what you have with your horse and Crochet.
Yeah, it's a solid rotation. I don't want to take away from that. It's just the problem is losing Alex Bregman and pivoting to a starter and giving up the QO, where I was not at all confident they were going to sign Bo Bichette. Neither were you. But
No.
Once they gave up the QO for Ranger Suarez, it's like, okay, they're definitely not getting Bo Bichette. They're not going to give up another QO for, I don't even know how that works. How would you lose a pick next year? I don't even know how that,
I don't know how that works. Let me see if I can give it a quick Google.
Not the overall point of what I was saying. It's just
but you were right. They were never going to give up. Whatever the penalty is,
Mhm.
they were not going to give it up.
Right. So, all this to say, it's just where do you go from here on the offensive side? Because you still have holes. Now you have, like we were talking about, you have an Alex Bregman-sized hole at third base. You still have an outfield logjam. Like, are we really heading into the season addressing nothing else? And even if you do, some of the potential trade targets or the free agents that are still out there, like, I just want nothing to do with. So it's hard for me to be super excited and be like, wow, we have a really good rotation, arguably top 5 in all of baseball, but the offense is still pretty lackluster.
Just for the Red Sox to sign 2 players who rejected the QO, they would lose a second, third, fifth, sixth, and $2 million.
So that was never going to happen.
No. There was no world in which they were signing 2 guys with the QO. But like you said, it's the roster makes no sense. Like, it still makes no sense. They have royally fucked up this roster because now you put yourself in a position where, and I guess we can touch on final thoughts, obviously, but Kyle Tucker goes to the Dodgers and Bo Bichette goes to the Mets, and you have a massive gaping hole in the heart of your lineup that you volunteered was going to be filled by a power bat. Oh, well, we got Wilson Contreras, and we think that with the launch angle and this, that, and the air pull rate, his power is going to tick up. Sure. Fine. I talked about it on the last episode. Is there a guy in this lineup that opposing teams take this big fat Sharpie that I've been fiddling with in my hands for some reason and circle him and say, this is not the guy that's going to beat us? No, there's not. The Yankees example I gave on the last episode. The rest of that lineup sucks. Like, actually sucks. But they have Aaron Judge where they can go. That's the one not going to beat us. And the Red Sox just don't have that, and they continue to not have that. And now when you look at the way that the roster is constructed, it's like, okay, well, you still have continued kicking this can down the world's longest road, being the outfield logjam. But can you afford to trade Jarren Duran now and lose his bat in the lineup? It doesn't feel like you can. So, like, there's been a lot of smoke around the Isaac Paredes deal, and it feels like the fan base is pretty split. Like, slowly, I think you're starting to see some people talk themselves into it, and then other people, like myself, will not be talked into it. I'm just not an Isaac Paredes guy. But you're seeing Jarren Duran get thrown around in these conversations, and it's like, okay, like, you trade Jarren Duran for Isaac Paredes, which, like, first of all, is not a 1-for-1 trade. So what are the Astros throwing in on top of things? And then it gets tricky there, too, because they don't really match up prospect-wise with you. Like, do you want Bryce Matthews? Like, it's another middle infield prospect, and then you're potentially blocking him out. He debuted last year. Do you go further down the farm system and try to target like a Calvarez who's 18? Then you're talking about trading one of your better players right now for Isaac Paredes and a guy who's 4 years away. So that's a tough sell too. It doesn't make sense. And then if you trade Duran, it's like, okay, we got Paredes, but we're still a bat shy. Like, right now, it doesn't make any sense. The pieces don't fit together.
The problem is, ideally heading into this offseason, we were like, they should trade an outfielder for a starter. Now the rotation is pretty much filled. In fact, you probably have too many starters. So could we see a trade there? I don't know. And it's also like, I don't want to give up a Connolly Early, a Peyton Tolley for an Isak Paredes. Like, I just,
Well, that's
in
just
no
never gonna
world,
happen.
like, absolutely not. And all of the rumors we've heard about position players who are available, like Eugenio Suarez, like, I don't even know who else. Like, those are really the two big names, aside from, like, I don't know, Luis Arias, I know, is still a free agent, but that's not happening. Like, where does he fit? And so could it be like some guy who's not on our radar potentially? But I'm leaning towards they're just going into this season with the roster they have.
Yeah, totally. And it's like I said, like, obviously you can trade Duran for Isaac Paredes and whatever else on top of it if you're planning on making another move to the offense. But then you have this big black hole clogging up your DH spot that you can't get rid of. Like, everyone just automatically was like all off season, and I definitely assumed that it was possible too. But the Cardinals, like, Heim gave him the contract. Maybe Heim's still a big Massa guy. They've already dumped more than enough money to take on the Massa contract. They were not interested in that.
No.
And so, like, it just makes it tough to add two bats, because then where are you adding the two bats? Like, at certain point, I don't want to ice out Marcelo, so you're talking about him playing second or third base, depending on where the addition comes from, and then where does another piece come in? It just doesn't. Like,
at this point, I'm leaning towards like just cutting your losses, but that seems like way too much dead money to just DFA the guy.
Well, that's the thing. They're not going to take the dead money hit on it. If they were going to, they would have already.
Right.
I feel like. So, like, I just don't know, like, where does that guy come from that the opposing teams have to circle? You're just, at this point, the team that will, and I guess I'll dive into this hypocrisy here. You're hoping it's Roman Anthony. And this is a team that Roman Anthony should have been on your opening day roster last year. He simply should have. And you can say, okay, well, like, they service time manipulated him. He wasn't willing to play ball on the contract. Like, ultimately, I think they just didn't want to risk him losing an extra year of ARB without a contract in place. And that's why they were just fucking around with the contract. And then eventually they got one done. But they publicly said, oh, we don't want to put too much on Roman's plate. This is a 20-year-old kid. Like, we don't want to look at him to come up and be the savior. And then obviously time goes by. They have to call him up when we get was it a Willier injury?
Mm-hmm.
We get the Willier injury. He gets called up. And then a week later, they trade Rafael Devers. And it's like, surprise, Roman, you're the savior. It's like, okay, so, like, you didn't want to put too much pressure on him. And now you're trading your best player and saying you're the savior. And now here we are again. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. He's a 20-year-old kid. Okay, so in the 2 months that it took him from being 20 in spring training to turning 21 in May or whenever it was, that was enough to not put the pressure on him, because now, guess what? The pressure is on him to be an MVP candidate this year.
Without that, I think this lineup if this is the lineup that we're taking into the season, like, it's just not good enough unless Roman Anthony is an MVP candidate. And that is so much to ask for in year two, especially when he didn't even have a full season last year. Like, it's not to say that I don't think he's capable of that. Like, I think he could be an all-star as soon as this season, but you're asking a 21-year-old to be an MVP candidate already? Like, that's not realistic at all. And you had the financial flexibility. You had the assets to go out and acquire that bat that you could circle in the middle of the lineup, and it just doesn't seem like it's happening.
What Craig Breslow's offseason has been is Kevin with bringing the chili into the office. Like, that's what he comes in firing on all cylinders. The window's open. The goal is to compete for World Series champions. We're getting a 1 beat. We're getting a power bat. It's a combination of you're going to be so tired of winning. You're going to say, Mr. President, it's too much winning. And then Kevin promptly fumbling the vat of chili all over the floor in the office.
So depressing.
Like, that's what we've come to this offseason. And I know we've kind of harped on Paredes, but the other two names getting tossed around, Brendan Donovan and Nico Horner, too. Like, who's going to hit home runs in this lineup? Like,
no one.
If they land one, like, okay, like, Paredes is your best bet to getting a home run hitter in that lineup, but, like, Donovan and Nico Horner, those are not anywhere close to home run hitters. their profiles don't like change that much at Fenway either to make you think that the power is gonna tick up at all.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I forgot about them when I was listing the potential targets. Like, I'm just so out on both of them. I get their plus defenders, at least Horner is, and maybe you can put Meyer at third that way, but it's like you're asking me to pick between 3 or 4 guys that I just want nothing to do with. So,
Yeah.
which guy would I prefer the most out of those guys? I guess Paredes because of the power, but the defense is bad, and you just signed another ground ball pitcher. If you're going with Brian Bayo again, I forget the exact stat. I think Carabas had it. It was like 4 of the top 20 like ground ball rate or whatever the stat is.
Yeah, 3, I think it is. Suarez, Gray, and Bayo.
Yeah, and I
3.
think when you open it up to 20, Crochet was like 19.
Okay.
So all this to say that you need a good defense behind those guys. If you're forcing soft contact in the infield, we saw how bad the defense was last year. Trevor Story, I mean, well, what is that going to look like at another year at shortstop as he gets older? Now you don't have Alex Bregman at third. So are you putting Meyer there? Are you putting him at second? Are you starting Romy Gonzalez for 162 games at second base? Like, the defense, it needs work, and they said that at the beginning of this offseason, and they haven't addressed it really at all.
No, and like, so you're going to get Meyer however many games. You have Trevor Story, who committed the second most errors or tied for the second most errors among all shortstops in baseball last year. You lose a Gold Glove caliber third baseman, and okay, you think Meyer's a Gold Glove caliber defender at second or third base or shortstop. I tend to agree with you there, but you get Wilson Contreras at first base. He's a fine defender, but like overall, your defense hasn't changed it that much, if at all. And unless you supplement that, like that's why the roster makes no sense. Because if you had the guy, if you had the big bopper, if you had the power hitter in the middle of your lineup that you said you were going to get going into the offseason, then it's like, okay, fine. Nico Horner, he's a Gold Glove caliber defender. Let's plug him right in at third base or at second base. Perfect, fine, good. These are all complementary pieces that we're talking about adding at this point. When you aren't a complementary piece away. Like, and that sounds disrespectful to Nico Horner, but like, just with what the team needs, that's what he is to this Red Sox roster. It, like, you need the big bopper, you need the, oh shit, we got insert name. Like the shit, we got Kyle Schwarber. Oh shit, we got Pete Alonso. Like, that just, it never came this offseason. And like, even the like, breaking Ranger Suarez to the Red Sox isn't like a like holy fuck move. Like, we got this guy. It's a nice addition. It's just for what the team needs. It's just it wasn't the guy that I would have targeted. And I think it goes back to what we said. The trade should have been an outfielder for a pitcher, and then you sign a big bat in free agency. And they just completely whiffed on all the bats in free agency. They made an unserious offer to Pete Alonso. They didn't really seem to be all that interested in Schwarber at all. They kicked the tires on Bo Bichette, but decided that was too expensive for them. And then from there, they were never interested in Kyle Tucker. And ultimately, for the deal that he got, like, how can you blame them? It wasn't like he was looking for, and the Blue Jays had a long-term deal out there for him. So it's like, obviously you're not playing in that game anymore with the top free agents in the market. So like, I just don't, like you said, I don't know where you go, because all these guys are just kind of whatever.
And I
saw a report out of the Cubs side of things that if they were going to trade Nico Horner, they would want a Kyle Tucker like return.
That's insane. What? I didn't hear that.
So, yeah. Yeah, so you can fuck all the way off with that. Yeah. Cam Smith, a guy you used your first round pick on, plus Hayden Wesneski, who's a like intriguing enough arm with 5 years of service time. Like, and then I feel like there was another piece in there, like a like lottery ticket prospect. So like, yeah, you can fuck all the way off with that asking price on 1 year of Nico Horner.
Yeah, and like Brendan Donovan, sure, we can do a third deal with the St. Louis Cardinals because apparently Chaim Bloom is the only one who wants to talk to him. Yeah, and I don't know, like, I guess he has some utility, but you don't really need utility at this point. Like, you have your outfielders, you have too many outfielders, you have Nick Sogard, Romy Gonzalez as your bench infielders.
Yeah. You have a second or third baseman in Marcelo Meyer.
Right. So it's like we don't need much utility. We're not going for a Tommy Edman type here. Like I need a power bat. And if you say that Eugenio Suarez is the answer, like you're just tripping. I want what you're having, dude. Like you want 40 homers, sure, but his defense is horrendous. And the only spot he can play right now is third base. Unless you find some way to get rid of Yoshida, I'm happy with him as your DH. But it's like at this point, it just makes no sense. And like you said, he has 40 to 50 home run power, but that's still a supplementary bat. I feel like that's not the guy who you can slot into your cleanup spot and be like, yeah, we cannot let this guy beat us, like you've been saying.
Well, and I think what it boils down to as we kind of find ourselves talking in circles, I feel like almost with the same point over and over again, is that the piece that you circle is Roman Anthony. Like that's what they're like, because where it's not we've rattled off all the names that are rumored to be out there, and I guess we didn't touch on that rumor from yesterday that they supposedly were talking about upgrading their catching tandem, which I don't think enough people sounded the alarms about this. Carlos Narvaez wanted to play for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic and needed an injury insurance waiver for his hip, and it got denied. So what the fuck is going on with Carlos Narvaez's hip that he's getting after his rookie season, getting an insurance waiver denied to play in the World Baseball Classic? Like that is, I feel like everybody just glossed over that. I read that and immediately a giant red flag started waving directly in front of my face. Like I caught once in my entire baseball career during a simulated game. I caught one batter and said, yep, nope, not for me. Stood up and fucking made the coach swap me out. I was not interested in catching whatsoever. But with that being said, feels like your hips are pretty important for needing to squat down for 9 straight innings. Yeah, so to me, that, and then followed by the rumors that they're looking to upgrade their catching tandem, it really makes me wonder what direction they're going in with Narvaez here. Like, is he going to be a backup guy? Is he even a guy that can stick at catcher for like the duration of his career? Where is he going to go then? You have Wilson Contreras for 2 years. We already talked about the black hole at DH. So like that to me is something that got completely brushed under the rug, and maybe it was better suited for final thoughts. But while we were talking about all these rumors, it felt relevant. But Dalton Rushing was the name that came up in those rumors, which we heard over the deadline season too, that they were kicking the tires on him. But now where does that match line up with the Dodgers? Because they have Kyle Tucker out there. So they don't really need Jarren Duran anymore.
Right. And we saw them kicking the tires on JT Realmuto until ultimately the Phillies ended up bringing him back after missing out on Bo Bichette, which talk about a pivot.
Awful contract.
Yeah.
Dude,
that was it, 3 years, 45.
Awful. Yeah. And his defensive numbers are terrible now, and his offensive numbers continue to tick down. Like it felt like Dombrowski was just like, oh fuck, we got to do something.
Yeah, the Phillies, I feel like maybe not in a similar boat, but I guess they did lose Ranger Suarez. We lost Alex Bregman. It's kind of in that purgatory where like, can you really salvage the offseason?
They had that weird Dombrowski press conference at the end of the season too, where they asked him about Harper being an elite player again, and he was like, I don't know if he's ever going to be an elite player again.
That's wild.
And then I want to say Harper was wearing a shirt that was like that said like not elite or something like that, which is funny. I can't believe there hasn't been more smoke around him potentially getting moved. But I mean, another one that has been floated around now that both Bichette and Bregman are off the board, not in Philly, I can't see them moving him anymore. But Alec Boehm was another guy that got tossed around. It's another guy whose profile probably fits at Fenway, but like it's another complimentary piece. And as we said, they don't have a need for a complimentary piece. They have plenty of complimentary. All they've added besides Ranger, and even to an extent, you could say Ranger Suarez is a complimentary piece to Alex Bregman, to Garrett Crochet. Like all they've added is complimentary pieces, and there are no big dogs left. People thought that they were going to re-engage with Mike Hazen after he closed the door on Ketel Marte. He got asked about that and said, no, there's a reason we set the deadline, and it's because we didn't want to be dealing with this for the entire offseason. And we set the deadline, nobody met our price, so Ketel's an Arizona Diamondback for the rest of the 2026 season. Like they're not revisiting that. So like shy of Dave Dombrowski taking another shit on Bryce Harper, like I don't see a big dog becoming available. Like,
No.
and then even then, like I said, where does Harper play? If you were in pie in the sky, if you were to come across that type of situation, where does he play? You need to get rid of Yoshida.
Dude, I mean, regardless, if Bryce Harper ever came to the Red Sox, the speed of which the jersey would hit my shopping cart would be unbelievable. I know we've been kind of going in circles here with the complimentary pieces. Bottom line is they need to make some move. I hope this isn't the complete offseason, but the closer we get to pitchers and catchers reporting, I just get more worried that this is it. And I know we have some
well, just the new Paredes stuff. I feel like we kind of danced around it for however long. There, I guess that's not the right word I was looking for, but and this popped up as I was looking for this report. Chris Cotillo, another Red Sox update as of this weekend. Very little traction when it came to Eugenio Suarez. So I think it's going to be Paredes, but this was on Paredes from Chandler Rome, who is with The Athletic, I believe it is, covering the Astros down in Houston. He said that there's nothing close or imminent in terms of a trade. Also floats that Wilyer Abreu might be more attractive to them than Jarren Duran based on discussions so far. So I said that I don't think that you're trading, or you can afford to trade Jarren Duran for Isaac Paredes plus whatever else. But I like it's more palatable to me to trade Wilyer Abreu for Paredes. But I also think that I'm not trading 4 years of Abreu for 2 years of Paredes. So then it comes back to it's a weird match. Like it just, I don't know. Like I said, like I think the perfect analogy is Kevin with the chili. Like it's just the roster makes no sense, and literally every single path that you talk about for these potential trades that are being floated right now continue to not make sense the more that you think about them. Like, okay, we're going to trade Jarren Duran for Isaac Paredes plus. It's like, okay, well, now you have a Jarren Duran-sized hole in your lineup, and Isaac Paredes fills the Bregman-sized hole, and you still haven't filled the Devers hole. So, like, where is that coming from? Like, the more you talk it through, it's like, okay, okay, like I guess, like it just the way that they've built this roster, they've taken a roster that was on the doorstep of being true World Series contender and put them in no man's land pretty much, because that's where I think they find themselves. They're the Mariners, and like, okay, yeah, the Mariners were one game away from going to the World Series last year, but look at the last 5 years for the Mariners where they were in no man's lands. They had one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, which let me check it right now, but I believe you've passed the Dodgers in terms of pitching WAR that you're projected for in the 2026 season. Yeah. So you've passed the Dodgers in terms of projected WAR for your pitching staff. And your offense is, where is it? I guess I'd have to flip back through it. But the last time we talked, they were in the like mid to low 20s.
Something like that. And it hasn't gotten better.
No, they haven't added anything. So it's just like, again, like I said, I don't see where things get better here on the offensive side. I don't think they do.
To address the offense, all you had to do was spend money. I mean, there were guys out there. Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso went fast. And then you're like holding out for Alex Bregman, and we have some fallout to get to from the end of Bregman's time in Boston. And then you could have pivoted and went to get Bo Bichette. Instead, you signed Ranger Suarez. So it's like, sure, Ranger Suarez is cool. Like, I'm excited to see him play for the Red Sox. I think he's a dog. I think a lot of these things, like, I think he's going to be a good addition, but I still hate this offense. Like, that's the bottom line, is I just don't see this offense being competitive enough. Like, it doesn't matter if you can hold offenses to 2 or 3 runs a game. Like, if you're only able to put up 1, then you're losing all these games.
They're the Islanders. They're the Bruins. That's what they're building. They're building the New York Islanders of baseball, which is not exciting at all. And I have it up now. They're 20th in projected WAR from their hitters right now. 20th.
Not great.
I just don't know. They're projected 1.7 WAR from their DH spot that they're paying $18 million a year to. And even letting him completely clog up.
Just for reference, where are the Mariners on there?
The Mariners are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So fifth, because free agents counts as 1. Actually,
okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, sixth. Sixth not including the free agents.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean,
offensive WAR.
and Cal Raleigh hitting 60 plus homers last year definitely helps. But I mean, they
Yeah.
re-signed Josh Naylor. They let Suarez walk because he was basically a black hole when he came to the Mariners, which he was last time too. So I don't know why they thought trading for him again would suddenly fix everything. But either way, like, they address their offense and they're probably going to make the playoffs again this year. And you're basically just the 2022 to 2024 Seattle Mariners now.
Yeah, and like to their credit, the Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh account for 12.1 of their projected 27.9
Okay.
offensive WAR this year per Fangraphs. But like they have two guys that you circle and say they're not going to beat you, and then you get into the Josh Naylors, you get into the rest of their lineup. But at least they have those two guys where it's like, all right, these are the two that aren't going to beat us. Like, not to mention they added poor Rob Refsnyder, who they listed as a first baseman for some reason. But then they have intriguing prospects coming up too to continue to further supplement that. So obviously you have an MVP candidate in Raleigh. You go out and trade for Josh Naylor. You still have Randy Arozarena. You have Colt Emerson ready to come up. Like, the Mariners are the model for what a lineup with that strong of a pitching staff should have been. And again, like, they don't know what they're doing is what I think it comes down to.
Yep. And we could get to the Bregman fallout, because speaking of not knowing what they're doing, I mean, if this is really all that it took, where I'm sure most people have seen it by now, but the main thing was the Red Sox didn't want to give Alex Bregman a no trade clause, citing organizational policy. And ultimately the Cubs gave him $10 more million and a no trade clause, and he's now a Cub.
Yeah, and to me, it really is as simple as, if you're Alex Bregman, in the last 5 years, the Red Sox have traded Mookie Betts, Rafael Devers, let Xander Bogaerts walk. Willing to trade those guys or let those guys go, why wouldn't they be willing to trade me? They cycle through executives like they're going out of style, and it's entirely possible that, probably, I would say at this point, likely, that in 2 years we're talking about who's going to replace Craig Breslow. Could be as soon as this year. I think if they miss the playoffs this year, then we might be talking about who's going to replace Craig Breslow. Like, so, like, who's to say that next person, when Breslow inevitably falls flat on his face and gets fired too, just like Dombrowski inevitably did, so on, it's Sherrington. It's a laundry list at this point. Like, who's to say that they're not going to view Bregman as an expendable contract? And to me, I don't think that contract that he eventually signed, 5 and 170 or 175, was going to be movable in his ages 32 through 37 or whatever it winds up being. So, like, to me, like, why not? And if you knew it was that important to him, like, if that's the difference between offering him 160 with a no trade clause and losing him, then I don't see why you wouldn't just do it. Because, like, okay, organizational policy, there's plenty of examples of partial no trade clauses that they've given out. Chris Sale, Pablo Sandoval, Hanley Ramirez, Carl Crawford, like, they've been more than willing to give out partial no trade clauses. So I don't understand why they wouldn't just do it. Like, Bregman, like, and the Red Sox will turn around and say, it wasn't communicated to us how important the no trade clause was to him. Over and over and over again, he talked about how important it was for this to be his last stop. He's got young kids, a young family. He wants to stop moving around and have this be the place that he calls home for the rest of his baseball career. I knew that. You knew that. Little Timmy walking around the street right now knew that. And the Red Sox didn't. And I go back to something that Sean McAdams said on the Christian Arcan show last week when he was on there. He got asked, like, does that sound like the way that Boris negotiates, by just, like, not saying, like, bluffing a deal or saying we have a no trade, we need the no trade, or not saying that? And McAdams said no, it doesn't, which is why I caution everyone to listen to this take this with a grain of salt, essentially, because when two sides don't come to an agreement, there's revisionist history on both sides about why they didn't come to an agreement. The Red Sox are floating that Boris just didn't tell them about the no trade clause, which I find incredibly hard to believe, because, again, everyone with ears or a functioning brain knew how important it was for Bregman to have this be his last stop. So I don't know why they couldn't just sack up and do it. And it makes me wonder if Breslow even wanted the player to begin with, which then makes me once again question what the plan has been for this entire offseason at all.
Right. Like, I think if they gave him a no trade clause at 160, 165, whatever it was, I think he's still a Red Sox.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
$10 million meant that much to him. I really think it was the no trade clause because, like he said, he went from Houston last year to Boston this year. Now he's doing a third move, or I guess that's a second move to, right? Second move?
Yeah, I
No.
guess technically second, third city,
Third
second
city.
move. They're whatever.
Not really important. So he's moving his second time in however many, like 2 years. So yeah, I would understand the need for some stability, especially with some young kids. Like I can't imagine how annoying it is to have to pick up your kids and be like, okay, we're switching schools. You were here in Boston for this year. Now you're in Chicago. Like that's got to be
and they have a
super annoying.
newborn too. So
Right.
now you're talking about moving with a baby that's less than 1 year old.
Exactly. So like,
yeah,
I mean, you couldn't just give him a no trade clause. I don't understand.
it seems too easy.
Right. And that brings me back to, like you said, like, I don't know if Craig Breslow ever 100% was like, yeah, this is the guy, because we heard last offseason that Cora was really pushing for it and Bregman was Breslow was more on the fence about it. Ultimately, they signed him, traded Devers, and now Breslow, after a year of seeing just how much Alex Bregman brought to this team, still was not 100% sure that he was the guy and ultimately lost out because of that. Like, this is what I was saying all offseason. You need conviction in these moves. You need conviction in these decisions. He can't be just waiting around like, oh, well, hopefully he comes back because he liked it here last year. Obviously, that didn't happen. And now you have no backup plan.
Yeah, conviction and urgency are only useful to this Red Sox front office as buzzwords to feed their word salad bullshit to the fans. Like it's like I said when we did that emergency episode. Like, all right, here's Craig Breslow. Word salad, word salad, word salad. We tried to act with a sense of urgency, but ultimately we didn't find alignment with Alex and his camp, and we wish him nothing but the best. Like that's what it's going to come down to. And I don't know if you read that email interview he did with Cotillo, but that's essentially what he said. Like he essentially just said, like Cotillo asked him going 11 months ago, Red Sox fans were going into spring training with Alex Bregman and Rafael Devers seemingly at the heart of their lineup for years to come, along with the young core. Now you have neither of them. Like, how do you essentially conjure with that? It's just like you can't. But he gave I have the answer pulling up right now. Knowing now that you won't have Bregman past the 1 year, do you view the chain of events around Rafael Devers and the eventual trade that sent him to the Giants differently? What would your reaction be if someone told you in February that neither Bregman nor Devers would be on the roster in 11 months? Rather than spend a ton of time on the particulars, what is most important is 1, how we respond to improve our roster, and 2, how can I learn from the experiences that allow to inform how I approach the role going forward? Neither outcome we face right now is ideal, but both will be evaluated over a longer time horizon. What does that mean? Like, what does any of that mean?
He threw it into ChatGPT, dude.
Neither outcome we face right now is ideal. You're the one that put them in the situation. The outcomes are from your own doing. Nobody told you to trade Rafael Devers. Nobody told you to lie to him for the entire offseason last year. Nobody told you to spit in his face and trade him. And then nobody told you not to sign Alex Bregman, because it's something we talked about on the last full episode that we did. I think that contract that Alex Bregman signed was stupid. I think it's going to age like milk. And the Cubs in 2 years are going to be looking at it and going, why the fuck did we spend our money on this guy? But that's all it takes. It takes one team. It takes one Padres to give Xander Bogaerts $300 million over 11 years, the worst contract in baseball history. Like, that's all it takes, and that's what it took, and that's what happened. You had one team get stupid and give out a contract that's going to age horribly, and now, like Cotillo said, 11 months later, you have no Devers, you have no Bregman, and you have a roster full of good players that don't fit together.
Yeah, it's a mess of a roster right now, and there's really, like, Breslow is like, oh well, now it's up to us to find a way out of this. There really are no ways out of this.
No.
Like, we listed the names: Brendan Donovan, Isaac Paredes, Ranger Suarez, Nico Horner. Like, none of those guys are the same as a Rafael Devers. or an Alex Bregman. Neither.
No. And when I posted the clip of Devers being the worst trade in franchise history, I had the dumbest people in the fan base be like, he was no Poppy, he's a lazy piece of shit, he's this, he's that. And every time oh God, I don't know who Big Bodo is, but they're absolutely giving the fists to Man City.
Oh no.
That's tough. That was talking soccer. But that is, yeah. All right. Well, that's what I get for betting on soccer because it was on at 12:30 and there was nothing else on. That's $15 I'll never get back. Anyways, but I guess I forgot. And then I lost my train of thought there.
I got distracted by soccer too.
I looked up and I see this guy on Bodo celebrating.
Oh no.
No, not good.
Try to rein it back in. Did we have anything more on Bregman? Was your point on Bregman?
I feel like it had to have been.
Probably.
The Devers, the dumbest people in the fan base.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The dumbest people in the fan base calling him a lazy, fat piece of shit. And then every time I have the same canned response for everybody. It's like, okay, you might think he's a lazy piece of shit, but since 2020, he's the 19th best hitter in baseball by WRC+. So I don't know where you're replacing a top 20 hitter in baseball. Like someone called Devers the most overrated player in Red Sox history.
That's insane.
For the 5-year span, he was a top, and I'm pretty sure it was more than top 20 because there were a bunch of guys tied at like 16. Like Gunnar Henderson, he was tied with, I forget exactly who it was, but yeah, we're talking about you losing a top 10 player or a top 20 player over the last 5 years and replacing him with nothing. And I feel like I'm chock full of random TV references in this episode that are Trump quotes, but it's the Nathan Fielder, I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Oh my God. I don't think I have anything else to add. I mean, we've beaten this drum for even before Bregman signed with the Cubs, like just how stupid it was to trade Rafael Devers. I don't think either of us are changing our opinions on that anytime soon. And
Ever.
I think
I will die. Those will be my final words.
And honestly, the more you look at the fallout after Bregman went to the Cubs, more and more people are coming around. I'm like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have traded Rafael Devers. All of a sudden, like
everybody decided to put their thinking cap on
collectively at the same time. Like,
yeah. Wait a minute. We traded Rafael Devers for Alex Bregman, and now we have neither. That doesn't seem like it was very smart. I am a very smart Red Sox fan.
Yes,
like,
great.
That's what
great analysis.
That's what they all did. That's what every single, except for like the handful of dumbs that wanted to call him overrated and a bum, that somehow all found their way into our TikTok replies.
Oh yeah, I mean, TikTok is a death trap sometimes. Especially, I feel like you've been attacked a lot with like
for
Braves
being correct.
Fans.
Yeah, for being right.
Orioles
I've been attacked on TikTok more than anybody. Yeah, it makes. Yeah, I forgot about the Orioles fans. Yeah. The Orioles fans, the Braves fans, Red Sox fans for liking Devers too much. Like,
how dare you?
Someone was like, oh, like you just don't believe in Roman Anthony. Buddy, I believe in Roman Anthony maybe more than anybody.
Mm-hmm. Easily.
And yeah, it's just, I found myself in the crosshairs a lot. And I guess just to kind of wrap things up on the trade front and where we go from here, the rotation also makes no sense. Like you have
too many guys.
Like, which is why the Isaac Paredes deal would have made so much more sense. Like, okay, they asked for Tolier early. How about Hunter Dobbins? You no longer have a Hunter Dobbins to trade. Like, can you talk them into Kyle Harrison?
Cutter Crawford, I doubt it.
Like and even then, like I'd rather just hang on to Crawford and move Harrison, who I didn't think was anything special when you made him the centerpiece of the Rafael Devers salary dump. And after watching him pitch for however long, I don't think he's anything special. That Apple TV Friday night game where they clinched the playoffs against the Tigers, he lasted 3 innings. He looked really good for the first inning, and then all of a sudden the control went, and it was just like I don't need to watch that. Like they're especially now with the depth that you have in the rotation, they're at this point, 10 guys I would rather see get the ball over. Like at this point, I'd rather see the 5 guys that you have there now, Tolley, Early. At this point, I'd rather see Tyler Uberstein or Shane Drohan get a spot start here or there. Patrick Sandoval coming back, Cutter Crawford. And it seems like Brian Bayo's the odd man out who, again, that in that McAdam interview with Arcand, he kind of poured a little water on that flame by saying, like, okay, like when prospects get called up, fans have the tendency to cling on to them and love them because they're new, they're young, exciting, they have personality. But ultimately, you don't know what either of those guys are going to be, and you know what Brian Bayo is going to be. So I just don't, I don't know where the trade comes from. And it seems like if they were going to trade Bayo, I think they would have already. Like, it just like, are you trading Brian Bayo for Isaac Paredes? That's another one where I'm not.
Absolutely not.
Like, so like it really comes down to you have to go to the Astros and be like Kyle Harrison, take it or leave it.
Mm-hmm. And I think,
and then from there, like, where do you go with it? Because that still doesn't, like I said, like Kyle Harrison's like the 11th man on the totem pole right now in terms of rotation depth. So you still have too much depth in the rotation. It's just like, again, it makes no sense. Like, and then what do you do if you trade an outfielder? Like, the moves have to be some combination of trade an outfielder to trade Wilyer Abreu to restock some of your farm system, and then flip one of your starters for that infield bat, and then cross your fingers that Roman Anthony is going to be a top 10 MVP finisher this year. Because there isn't any other guy out there.
And if these moves are coming, I mean, they should be any day now, because we're like, what, 20 days away from pitchers and catchers reporting? And
yeah, what, the 15th?
Yeah, something like that. Right, so, give or take 20, 25 days. I don't imagine much more coming once spring training begins. So it's like, if you're going to address the outfield logjam, if you're going to trade for another offensive piece, like, it has to come soon. And we've heard nothing. And I guess this brings me back to the point of how boring this offseason has been, because there haven't really been any rumors that have held much weight at all.
Maybe I have to go back to Europe. It seems like they love making moves when I was not in the country. On the plane, bro. Oh yeah. Yeah, I need to go back to the New York City of Europe derogatory. That's where I need to get overseas. That's when they like making moves or not making moves, depending on how you look at it with the Bregman thing. It's a really murky picture and things are looking bleak. I don't think that you really have an avenue to being a better team than you were last year. I think at the best you're looking at being the exact same team that you were last year while everyone else around you got better.
I think that about ties a bow on it. I have one more quick take before we get into the breakdown. Did you have anything else you wanted to hit on before then, or?
I don't think so. I think I got most of it out. I've had weeks of takes ready, and it came out in whatever word salad. I did my best Breslow impression for the first 50 minutes of this podcast.
No, you did great.
So, yeah, I think it all at least made a little bit of sense.
Yes, I think so too. Okay, I have a baseball take. It's not really related to the Red Sox, but overall in Major League Baseball, I think we've seen many more international fans than ever before, and that's because of Shohei Ohtani. That's because of all these other Japanese stars and the World Baseball Classic. And by the way, the World Baseball Classic is coming up this year. And let me crunch some numbers here.
43 days away.
I have to find when this game came out, because let's see. It has been, it came out in 2008. Let me put my thinking cap on. That is 18 years since a new Mario baseball game. What are we talking about, dude? We have gone 18. The last Mario baseball game came out on the Wii. That thing came out in like 2005. Like that game, I mean, it's a timeless classic. Like, I will still go and play that game nowadays. But if you're sitting here, and I bring this up because I saw a TikTok a couple weeks ago of these two like Nintendo insiders. They used to work for Nintendo. Now they do a podcast. Yeah, two dummies in front of a mic. Who could have guessed? But all this to say, they said that a Mario baseball game probably isn't going to happen because baseball isn't big in Europe. Like, are you kidding me? When
isn't
baseball,
Nintendo a Japanese company?
Exactly. So in your two biggest markets, Japan and North America, baseball is bigger than pretty much ever before. I mean, the World Series viewership, I don't know the exact numbers.
It's number 2. It's the number 2 sport by championship viewership behind the NFL in the country.
And we're not going to Nintendo is not going to capitalize on the traction that baseball has right now, especially if you're going to release a Mario baseball game and you want it to hit Europe, and do well in Europe. why not do it when the World Baseball Classic is a thing? You have some European teams out there. Great Britain, I mean, famous Brit Aroldis Chapman is suiting up.
Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah, like, I mean, if there were ever a time to capitalize on baseball, now is the time. And it's just, I don't think it's ever going to happen. They're putting out another Mario tennis game instead of putting out a baseball game. It's just astounding. You could even do like a collab and be like Mario X Shohei Otani baseball, like whatever. Like, I mean, people would flock to that. I just think we're so dumb. We're hemorrhaging money, and I'll get to another point of hemorrhaging money in the Bruins breakdown. But I had to get that out there. Hashtag bring back the Jersey Wall. Hashtag bring back Mario baseball. I can't do it anymore.
Mario Super Sluggers.
Yeah.
Hashtag bring back Mario Super Sluggers. The thing too is I feel like everybody's been clamoring for it, and
yeah,
it felt like for a while there was a bit of a lull in like Nintendo. Like Nintendo kind of fell off. And then they had the surge with the Switch during the pandemic that kind of brought everything back. And then the Switch 2, obviously, people were hyped on that. And when the Switch 2 was announced, I feel like everyone was like, all right, here we go. Switch 2, Nintendo's got some momentum. Mario Super Sluggers 2, here we come. And it just hasn't came at all. And but have I told you my my tragedy, my Greek tragedy with all of my Wii games?
No.
So...
Oh.
Don't sigh at me over there. So we still have the Wii. My dad, handful of years ago, gave we had this big ass binder, this thick ass binder that weighed like 10 pounds with all our DVDs and Wii games and stuff in it. They were in it was like right on the easily accessible in our playroom. My dad gave that binder away to our neighbor with a young child
for free,
or a young granddaughter for free. He thought it was just movies. He thought it was just movies.
No.
And all of a sudden I was fishing around under the house trying to get something out for my mother, and I see my my Rock Band's drum set and my Guitar Hero guitar and whatnot, and I'm like, we still have the Wii. We just got to find the binders. He gave the binder away when I was still in Chicago, so I couldn't have put a stop to it. So I'm like, hey, like if I pull that stuff out, like where's that big binder that we had? Like I knew exactly where it used to be up in the, like, since we've changed the house around. So I looked there and it's like, oh, where's this binder? It's like, oh, actually I gave it away. It's across the street. I'm like, you gave it away? All of my Wii games, Rock Band, Guitar Hero, Mario Super Sluggers. So now I have a Wii that is effectively completely useless. And worst of all, the neighbor that he gave it to, dead.
So what, we have no idea where those are.
No, so his wife and the granddaughter and his daughter still all live across the street. But since his passing, they haven't been as readily accessible as he would have been. Like just like out in the yard, like raking leaves, like talking to my dad or stuff. And it feels weird to be like, to go over knocking on the door, being like, where's this binder? You have to give me this binder. I need it. Like, so we're in between a rock and a hard place. And
yeah,
I guess I'll keep everything posted, because I am at some point, we've been brainstorming for months how to get to this binder to find my Wii games. Right now the leader in the clubhouse is to say that there's like some home videos or something in there that we need. Play. And just to see if we can flip through it real quick, and then I can snag all the Wii games. But we haven't settled on anything yet. And also I'm not gonna go like ring this person's doorbell being like, hey, I need to flip through this. So like it needs to be like my dad needs to run into this guy's wife and be like, hey, I think we left some stuff in that binder. Like, you guys still have it? Then there's a chance they just threw it out. That is worst case scenario. And I don't know if you've I don't know what they are now, but I've looked at on eBay for the prices of some of like Rock Band on the Wii or Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii. They are pretty pricey out there. So
a lot of them are expensive. Some you can find for pretty cheap, like some old classics.
Yeah, this one is $60 it looks like for disc only, might not be working. Mario Super Sluggers for $40.
That's wild. Well, I have it. If you ever want to come over and play, I mean,
I will be there no matter what.
You're open invite anytime. That would be a blast. Yeah, I actually sold my Wii and all of my games when I was like 15. And then college rolled around, and my roommate in college and I got the itch to play those games again. Bought a $30 Wii, and he had like all of the games that we wanted pretty much, so it worked out. But yeah,
Oh,
I
there you
can
go.
only imagine that pain.
Dude, especially the rock, but like to see the like, because all the expensive stuff is the gear, is like
Right.
the drum set and the guitar and stuff, and like I guess like at that point I could just buy a disc, but like also when I know that they're all just sitting there in a binder or
Mhm.
potentially sitting there in a
Hopefully.
binder across the street, it's like, and it's something that we talked about before we hit record. Don't really have the money to be throwing around $60 on a
Uh-huh.
Wii game to play Mario Super Sluggers like 5 times.
Yeah, it's like you said, rock and a hard place, and all of this could be solved if we just got a new Mario baseball. I guess the Rock Band
Yep.
thing is still a battle, and I'm praying for you there. But yeah, we need another Mario Super Sluggers or Mario Baseball in general. I think the one on the GameCube was called like Super Mario Baseball. So I don't care what you call
Yeah.
it. Just give me the same premise, give me the same basic features, and we'll go from there. Like,
Give me Donkey Kong punching the baseball instead
yeah,
of using a bat.
I need
Yep.
Funky Kong with his surfboard. I need Petey
Mhm.
Piranha swinging with his plant arm, and
Yep.
then make whatever else you want. Shohei Ohtani could be in the game. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like, as
don't
long
care.
as he's hitting nukes with Mario and Luigi, I'm all in. But
Yep, couldn't agree
seem
more.
doesn't seem like it's likely. We'll stay on Mario baseball watch, but we do have a Bruins breakdown to get to if you're ready.
I'm ready.
And Lucic taunts the Montreal bench. Moves around, moves around.
It's time for David's Bruins breakdown.
Oh, we are ready. Oh, this is I'm going to preface. There's going to be a lot of glazing in this edition of David's Bruins breakdown.
I also have a hater take that I'll get to.
What
You have
take?
Charas hater. I have a hater take.
Oh boy.
It's going to be very unpopular. If the people weren't already mad at me enough on TikTok, they're going to be very mad at me for this one. But
Buckle
I'm
up.
assuming you have Chara takes.
I have a few. Do you want me to just hit those first, or
Do you want to? We can go in chronological order again, or we can start Chara, or we can start with my Jersey of the week candidate, the trade that wasn't.
Okay, well, I have points on all of those, so maybe we just go chronologically and then.
Alrighty.
Okay. First one here. This started on. Actually, I don't know, but I think this was before the Kraken game. Late push here from Plymouth Rock. This Lindholm is once again hurt. Missed like 4 or 5 games. I think he's back now. I want to say. I think he played against the Blackhawks. But yeah. So I saw him in Plymouth Rock commercials more than on the ice. I think it's pretty neck and neck at this point. He's missed a good like 15, 20 games this year.
Yeah, probably more than that, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know. These are just like random injuries. And one thing I want to ask you is it feels like way more in hockey than any other sport. They don't disclose the specific injury. Like, it's just like they're out lower body injury or undisclosed injury. Like, we don't have any information. Why don't we have any information on the specifics of any of these injuries?
I don't know. They are more secretive than in any other sport. It feels like it's all lower body, it's all upper body. But I mean, like a lot of the time, you can like kind of like pinpoint plays where they got hurt and be like,
Right.
oh, it's this, oh, it's that, and sometimes they just come out and tell you. And for a while, like the Hampus injury last year, they were super secretive about it too, and it ended up being the broken kneecap, and they were like lower body injury, and it was Scoops Keefe that had the broken knee and had him missing however much time. And, but they'll tell you he doesn't have any sources because he made Brad Marchand angry.
Mm-hmm.
Which for my hater take, it's on Brad Marchand, and it's gonna piss off 2 different groups of people. It's gonna piss off some political folks, and it's gonna piss off some Bruins dick riders.
Oh dear,
So,
we're covering all bases here.
Yeah, it is bizarre. I don't know why. I don't know that there's a reason for it, but for whatever reason, it's all upper body injury or lower body injury. Like you could have a concussion and that's upper body injury.
Yeah, no, not even a head injury. It's crazy. Yeah. But like when I do like the trending updates, I try to get the injuries in there, and it's just like day to day, undisclosed. I'm like,
yeah,
I like we really need to gatekeep why Andrew Peak is out for like a couple games. I don't think anyone's respectfully, I don't think anyone's super concerned about that. I just want to know. Like I don't
Right.
understand. Okay, next one here. The Blue Jackets have a goalie named Jet Greaves. If that isn't an all-time goalie name, I'm not sure what is. Jersey of the week runner-up.
I like it.
I don't know if he's a runner-up anymore because we're gonna get to some guys that really deserve a nod here. This is definitely before the Kraken game. I forgot all about Henry Jokiharju. You guys can keep him, and keep him is in all caps. But he's actually been okay since he's been back.
Yeah, he's been all right.
So maybe I'll take that away. This one, I like the black Kraken jerseys a lot. This was before they beat us 7-4, so maybe I like them a little bit less after that. Okay, here we go. This is the first of many. I think we can we can assume who this is about. Who's Nadinov barking at the Kraken as if I needed a reason to like him more? That was after David Pastrnak scored. I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was a late hit and like who's
he got hit
Nadinov?
like right as he finished the goal, and
Yeah,
then who's
and they did not let that
Minton
slide. I
Which,
mean,
like, credit to them. Like, Bruins teams in the past would have just completely ignored that.
yeah, absolutely. Like, if nothing else, like this team is fun to watch, and I know we've mentioned it in past breakdowns, but they've really gotten back to how the Bruins traditionally play hockey, and I think that's very fun to watch.
Yeah, there is no more, with this. Well, and if there is, it's to a much lesser extent, but it's no more. Oh, we're the mighty Boston Bruins, and you wear the spoked bee, and that's an honor, and we play the game the right way.
Yeah.
Like, no, the good Bruins teams never played that way. So to like magically then get this sense of superiority, despite having one cup in the last 40 years, was really annoying.
Yeah. I agree there. Let's see. Pasta finally realized no one else on this team can score. Thank God. I think he scored 2 against the Kraken, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yep.
Swayman was not great.
Sneakily, Morgan Geekie hasn't scored in over a month.
I know, and he was out for a little bit. Congrats to him and his wife on having a kid. That's
having the sex.
Yes,
Confirmed
congrats.
sex haver Morgan Geekie.
Thought that would give him
for
some
him.
dad strength, but he hasn't scored yet since.
He hasn't been there yet.
No. We'll keep watch on that. This is from the Flames game. So about a week and a half ago, right after the Kraken game.
About a week ago.
This is the start of the win streak, which, by the way, they're on a 6-game heater right now, which has been awesome. Well, we'll unpack that as we go here. Bruins scored first. What planet am I on? And then this one was crazy. I sent this to you. This was while you were overseas. I said, Lori with a little razzle dazzle. Holy moly. I didn't know he knew how to do that. And if you didn't see this clip, it was like kind of an up and under.
I don't think I did.
Oh, I thought I sent it to you.
Maybe you did. Let me go back and look.
But either way, this led to a discussion between Zach and I about, I didn't even know Mason Lowry used to be a wing, right? Or a forward in general.
He was a forward when they drafted him. Then they slid him to defense when he was at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so
and
he used to be a wing.
And it begged the question for me, why doesn't he do that more often if he has a bag offensively and is kind of more of a liability on defense, I would argue. He's been scoring a little bit more. I think he had 2 against the Blackhawks.
Yeah, he had 2 against Chicago, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So maybe a little bit more of that is coming through, and I know he was kind of floated for a trade that ultimately didn't happen. I think both of us are happy that didn't happen.
Oh, very.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. So that was the end of the Flames game. Then we get to the New York Rangers game, and buddy, this is really where the floodgates open. All right, we'll start here. I thank the heavens every day to be alive, the same time as Murat Kuznetsov, 6th goal of the year. He's a legend. And then, buddy, you thought he just had 1 in this game. We'll go quick here. Poor Jonathan Quick. I love you, bro, but it's time to spend time with your family. Just a rough outing for him. Make that 7 on the year for my goat and yours, Murat Kuznetsov. Zaka hat trick. That's good for Jersey of the week, unless Kuznetsov gets one too. Did he ever? Here we go.
Oh, did he ever?
I have no words. My glorious king, Murat Husnudinov, has made NHL history with his first career hat trick. Real shit, though. I mean, what a call by me by liking this guy from the jump. Jersey of the millennium, Murat Husnudinov. Congratulations. I mean, that's really big for him. Yes, that was great. I mean, I could not believe this. So this was on a Saturday. I think it was a week and a half ago. So I was driving home from work right when this game started. I had it on my radio, but I was like driving through a tunnel. So I heard they scored. I'm like, who is it? Who is it? Pops up on my screen, Murat Husnudinov, and I lose my mind, speed home, and got to watch the other three on because spoiler alert, he did score one more after the Hattie. But yeah, this was an all-time day. Fraser
That was
Minton,
was it a 6-assist Pasternak night too?
6
5
assists
assists
from
6,
Pasta, yeah. 3 goals from Zaka, 4 from Husnudinov, 2 from Minton, and then we're missing 1, right? Who was the other one? I want to say it was a defenseman. Kastelik, maybe, yeah.
I feel like it was Kastelik always scored. He scores in weird games.
Oh, McAvoy. It's McAvoy.
Okay.
He does. Like, he'll have like an empty netter or like a shorty sometimes.
Well, he had that shorty against, was it, who was it?
Might have been the Blackhawks?
The other day. The Kraken.
Or the game before that.
Say. Yeah, I think it was the Kraken the game before. Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah, Kraken
okay, good call. Okay. So where did I lost my place here? Oh, Fraser Minton with two goals of his own. He's so good. Hashtag thank you, Brandon Carlo. I don't think we talk enough about how much of a fleece that deal was.
Let's go, Brandon Carlo.
Shout him out. Okay, here we go. I really have no words this time. That's 4 goals in one game for the greatest Bruin of all time. I think the NHL should add 60 more minutes to this game.
The greatest Bruin of all time.
Yeah.
Move over, Bobby Orr.
I mean,
Murat Husnudinov is here.
Listen, I think this is as good a place as any to insert this. I didn't have a point about them extending Jonathan Aspero, but we were talking before we started recording. How can they not extend Murat Husnudinov? And this isn't just me glazing. Like, I feel like they would be stupid not to. He has 2 years left on his deal. I think it's like $925K. So what are we waiting for? Like, maybe they do it next year, but even still.
Yeah, that's a next year thing.
Like, talk about a diamond in the rough. You traded, it was Brazeau, right? And you got Lauko and Husnudinov back.
Yeah, Lauko and Husnudinov back.
Oh yeah, we have another trade here to break down later. But say what you will about Don Sweeney, at least in trades, he rarely comes out, what do you call it? Rarely comes out as the loser, I guess.
On the bottom.
Yeah, on the bottom. I was thinking for
on the bottom, pause.
Like the opposite, I guess, is on the bottom, but I don't want to say it like that. So,
dude, side note, shout out Drake May for it's happened twice, but the couple times that he's thrown pause into his press conferences,
dude, I mean,
are all so funny.
He's literally just one of us, except he's really good at football.
The one on Sunday didn't really even make any sense. He was talking about how the ball feel on the ball changes with the weather, and like you can't really get a feel for it pregame because it doesn't touch the ground and guys are just kind of passing it around. Pause.
What a legend.
That one, I forget what the first one was, but the first one made way more sense than the second.
Maybe he was just like, I haven't done one of these in a while.
It's been a while. I got to throw a pause in.
He's the best.
And then shout out to Mark in Connecticut who said that he busted all over Will Campbell last week and he's going to bust all over him again because then it gave me the opportunity to clip that and throw the Drake May pause at the end.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
shout out the Patriots while we're here. Yeah. Who would have expected the New England Patriots, who went 4-13 last year, to completely flip that around, go 14-3, and be a win away from the Super Bowl? By the way, having to go up against Jared Stidham, of all people. It's
Well,
shocking.
those games don't count. The Chargers, they haven't played anybody because they lost. Those games don't count. The Chargers defense stinks because they lost, and the 2000 Ravens version of the Texans this year that everybody on planet Earth picked eating Drake May's ass for on Sunday, which like low key they kind of did, but
Yeah.
that defense now sucks because they lost as well. And I'm sure that's going to be the narrative too on Sunday. The Broncos defense that we've been hearing about for weeks was such a terrible matchup for everybody in the AFC, but because Jarrett Stidham, who, hot take, I don't think is that much of a drop off from Bo Nix, who I think sucks. Like that defense is going to suck too when they inevitably lose to the Patriots to not go to the Super Bowl. So yeah, it's going to be, and everyone's going to use some sort of Mickey Mouse excuse, even though that they have statistically had one of the toughest runs through the playoffs in terms of opposing defenses, maybe of all time, because they're going to have seen 3 top 10 defenses in their first 3 games, and then if they win on Sunday, which I think they're going to, I think they're going to run into the Seahawks. So that would be 4 top 10 defenses en route to a Super Bowl appearance.
Yep. That was talking Patriots. I don't have much more to add. But every so often you gotta. Maybe we'll get a talking Celtics at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't until we get AJ Dibonasta, which I don't think they're going to because the Celtics are good, so they're not going to rik the lottery for them to get him. I won't be talking C's. No. Actually, I will be talking C's briefly while we're talking Pats.
Okay.
Derek White joins Jason Tatum on the Boston Sports fraud list for being a Broncos fan.
Wow.
I've had a long-standing hatred of Jason Tatum because in 2019, I guess this ties in for the Bruins breakdown. I've had a long-standing hatred of Tatum since 2019 because he was openly rooting for the Blues against the Bruins in the Cup, and then had the audacity to wear St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup champion shoes during a game at the Garden.
That's wild.
Fuck you, Jason Tatum. And I'm glad that people are finally starting to see the people's superstar, Jaylen Brown, take his rightful spot among the NBA's elites, because you know who is a former Boston Bruins fan, banner captain, not a fan of any other NHL team? Jaylen Brown. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. Eric White, you're trying to talk yourself into Jarrett Stidham, which is a game that I'm very familiar with. It's not going to work, and screw you for rooting for the Broncos.
All right, that was talking C's. So look at us. We're covering all the bases today. I mean, you can't make this up. Let's see. Where were we here? Oh, shutout from Corpusalo. 2 good games in a row. Love to see it. And I
Trade
think
him while his value's high.
That too. I think he started against the Blackhawks, right?
Yeah.
So 3 good games in a row. I would absolutely trade him.
Good relative. The first period was brutal, and I know they missed that trip on Middlestat to give them that odd man rush that led to the second goal, but even that was a little bit of a softie.
Yeah, I agree. Like that first period, I'm like, okay, he's back. We had 2 games.
Yeah.
And that was fun while it lasted. I mean, he did kind of, what's the word? Like lock in, I guess.
Yeah, he got it together a little bit.
Okay, 5-game win streak, 2 shutouts in a row. The Bees are a wagon once again, I think. I don't know.
Undefeated homestand.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. And that was on Zdeno Chara night. They beat the Kraken. And this is all I really had to say because I think everyone who has watched the ceremony already gets it. But I said, God bless Zdeno Chara. But to expand on that, he was one of my favorite players growing up. One of my elementary school teachers knew I was a big Bruins fan back then, and I think she had like season tickets or something, but she would always bring in those like game posters you get from going to each game. So I had a bunch of them hanging up on my wall, and the one I remember specifically was from his 1000th game, and it had like the little patch on it. So that was pretty dope too. So shout out her.
Yeah. Yeah, Chara, I mean, like I said, I think it's been said time and time again what he meant for the team. It was like a true changing of the guard. It's something that they're looking to do similarly here. I don't think the lows of the last however many years are obviously as low as things got in 05. Although that was last year was the worst season that they've had since 05. So I guess there was a little bit of a parallel there. my take, I'll just get right to it. Fuck Brad Marchand, dude. Like genuinely fuck off. Like your captain that supposedly means so much to you, your close friend Zdeno Chara is getting his number retired by the Bruins on a day that you and the Florida Panthers have off, and you choose to go to the White House to watch Matthew Tkachuk do fucking tricks on it in front of Trump. Like, seriously, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, at first, you're a loser who begs to be traded to the team that fed you your lunch the last 2 years so you can go cup hunting, which, like, again, like, I don't really inherently have a problem with. But to then have an off day and go up there and stand grin ear to ear while SS agents are invading U.S. cities, murdering people, and then having your current captain go up there and be like, I took a walk with President Trump and it was better than anything I've ever done, including win 2 Stanley Cups. Like, he was literally doing fucking tricks on it up there. And Marchand, and he took a shot at Canada. Half the players on the team are Canadian, and Trump's up there taking shots at Canada and making them the 51st state, and Marchand's up there again, ear to ear grinning while Chara's getting his number retired, and he can't be there for that. Like, genuinely, Brad Marchand, go fuck yourself. You're dead to me.
Yeah, I honestly had no idea about that. I liked Brad Marchand when he was on the team. Since then, and his beef with Keefe last year, I'm like, maybe
he's
the problem.
Yeah, he's a fucking crybaby. And it's something that I said it, like, unfortunately, this era of Bruins, or this last era of Bruins, because I think we're entering the new one, is an era defined by what could have been. Obviously, you have the 1 cup in 11, but then you have a million different opportunities, and 13, you could argue in 12, they should have had better results. Obviously, you lose to a Blues team that you were way better than in 2019. 2020, you were on pace to where you did win the President's Trophy, and then you end up getting hit with the pandemic, which is obviously circumstances out of your control. But it took a team that was that old time to ramp back up during the pandemic, and it let a young Lightning team get healthy during that time. And then obviously you set the record for most regular season points, and you completely blow it in the first round there. So yeah, like I to me, like I said, like, to me, Brad Marchand now is irredeemable in my eyes. I already wasn't pumped when he went to the Panthers. I hated watching him win a cup, and now this stuff where he, like, on an off day can't even be bothered to, like I said, go ahead and get on his knees with the rest of the Florida Panthers, while this guy is, like I said, sending literal SS agents to terrorize American cities. Yeah, no respect for that, especially when you have a night like Zdeno Chara night going on, just a 90-minute plane ride away from where you are, and that's going to do that is more important than you then going to your former team for that. So yeah, you can film your little video all you want, but yeah, fuck you, Brad Marchand. You're dead to me.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you at all.
Yeah.
But we can move
Zach,
on.
Don't you know that all hockey players are conservative? Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they are. Fuck them too. Like, that's where I'm at with that. Like, yeah.
Well,
so yeah, that was pissing off all the MAGA chuds and the Bruins fans.
I mean, that's what we aim to do, I think. But we can move on to a former Bruin who I actually very much like. Seidenberg cited at the Chara ceremony. What a beast.
His honor.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that Tim Thomas was there too. I don't know if you saw that, but he crawled out of his doomsday prepping hole.
Yeah, that's the second time he's been around. I want to say they did a ceremony for him last year for getting into the American Hockey Hall of Fame.
Uh-huh. Oh.
And he was there for that, yeah.
Nice.
Climbed out of his doomsday hole.
I think that's so awesome. I kind of want to do some research. Maybe I'll do like a presentation or something on Tim Thomas's life after hockey, because I think
his life in hockey too. Cause he refused to go to the White House when Obama was there.
Well,
that was a whole to do too.
Yeah.
Which I forget. I want to say his reasoning was like something about the Middle East. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, I guess you did say most hockey players are conservative. So, and if he's doomsday prepping, I guess not to generalize, but I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, like ultimately, I don't really have a problem with people choosing to go or not to go. to the White House, I just feel like if you're Marchand and you have the day off, like, and you have this particular, like, I don't think this is any type of like I don't think this is the same kind of administration, like choosing to not go to Obama because like I said, I don't remember what the reasoning was for Tim Thomas, but like, oh, like I oppose bombing in the Middle East, I'm not going to go. That's like that's one thing, but I think the same can be said for like, oh, okay, like we have an American citizen getting shot in the face by ICE agents. I'm not going to go because this guy supports it. Like those are all one and the same to me. Like I don't have a problem if you choose to go or not to go, and if he just went and there wasn't, like, to me it's the Chara ceremony that really gets me.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like I think that the Chara ceremony should take precedence over going and kissing Trump's ass at the White House.
Mm-hmm. Very much agree there. Okay, this is from the Chara game. Number number 10 for Murat a minute into the game. Can this night get any better? And it did, because they ended up winning to sweep their homestand. This one real quick, we'll get into a couple of trades here. One that actually did happen. Jeffrey Viel was traded to the Ducks for a 4th round pick. Holy fleece. I think he played like 10 games total and did next to nothing in all of those games. So to get a 4th round pick for Jeffrey Viel, I mean, I'll absolutely take that.
Not only a 4th round pick, but the better of their two.
True. Good point. Okay, this second to last one here. And this is where we'll get into your Jersey of the Week candidate. Not entirely sure who Rasmus Andersson is, but that name belongs on the Bees. And unfortunately, it does not, because he is a Vegas Golden Knight. And I know you have takes on this.
Yeah. Oh, also just quickly, I found the Tim Thomas. This was his release for not going. I believe the federal government has grown out of control, threatening the rights, liberties, and property of the people. This is being done at all levels of the government. In direct opposition to the Constitution. This was not about politics or party, as in my opinion, both parties are responsible for the situation we're in as a country. This was about a choice I had to make as an individual. So a little bit of a weird, vague response.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm fine if you want to go or not want to go. To me, like I think the decision should be pretty clear. But like I said, most athletes, most hockey players are conservative. Fine. It's the fact that the Chara night was going on at the same time. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Not trying to do a little damage control there, but you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube there, and I still feel that way about it. And honestly, like I don't really care if the MAGA chuds are mad at me because they can go fuck themselves.
No, I'll go one step further. I don't care if they're mad at this podcast.
Yes, yeah. I don't care if they listen ever again, actually. I would prefer they didn't. Anyways, Rasmus Andersson, Jersey of the Week. Give it up for you. You're my winner of this week.
That was loud. I apologize.
Yeah, no, this Rasmus Andersson trade, I want to say it was Saturday into Sunday.
Yes.
We start getting some rumors like, oh, the Bruins are talking about Rasmus Andersson with the Flames. Supposedly the return was, there have been conflicting reports, but it was some variation of a 1st round pick, Matt Poitras and Mason Lohrei. It sounded at first like it was going to be their own 26 1st round pick, which I immediately was like, absolutely not. And then it sounded like it was going to be the Leafs 26 1st round pick from the Carlo trade, which I was even more like, absolutely not, because they're absolutely flailing right now up in Toronto. Later it comes out that it was probably going to be the better of their 27 1st round picks. So between that and the Panthers first that they got back from Marchand, and they got what is the term I'm looking for here? They got permission. Jesus Christ. Words are tough. Permission. That took me that long to come up with. They got permission from the Flames to talk extension with Rasmus Andersson. Supposedly the deal on the table was 8 years at $9 million AAV, which is we're talking like top pairing defenseman in the league territory with the current numbers. I know that's going to shift with the cap going up and whatnot, but ultimately it wasn't his preferred destination. So Andersson's camp told the Flames, we're actually not going to sign an extension with anybody. And that caused the Bruins to drop out. Talk about getting saved from yourself. with Don Sweeney. Not only is that a massive price to pay for an aging top four defenseman when you are already dealing with a potentially bloated contract of an aging top four defenseman, potentially two of them with Hampus Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov. We're already seeing it with Lindholm missing a gazillion games the last 2 seasons.
Plymouth Rock.
Yeah, so to me, I was already out on Rasmus Anderson. Then I dug into the numbers, and the expected stats were all really bad. The chart that Jay Fresh, I don't know if you follow him. He's an advanced analytics guy on the hockey Twitter. The chart he tweeted out said like maybe he benefit from a better situation, but like overall he's pretty mid. So then you're talking about paying $9 million for an aging, middle of the road 30-year-old defenseman. And it's like you said earlier in the breakdown, they have exactly one player that can put the puck in the back of the net. That's David Pastrnak. So to me, I just don't think that they need to be spending that kind of money, especially when they had all the cap space in the world and decided to already load it up with a bunch of mid grinders like Tanner Jeannot and Mikey Isamont and all these guys that they signed over the offseason. So yeah, I was out on Rasmus Anderson. So shout out to him for not agreeing to a contract extension. He saved the Sweeneyest from himself, because I saw this on Twitter. Someone calls it the Sweeney theory, that for every good move he makes, he has to make a bad one equally and possibly more destructive than the good one. You somehow get a 4th round pick for Jeffrey VL, and then you blow it by trading all those assets and $72 million on Rasmus Anderson. Like there are so many other guys, and like the way of the new NHL, at least right now, with the cap rising at the rate it's going, is you have to trade for a guy and then extend him if you want any chance at him, because they're all just re-signing. Like
Right.
Alex Tuck is available. Jason Robertson is rumored to be available. Any number of goal scorers. Rob Thomas with St. Louis, that's another one. Like they need to be spending their assets on those guys rather than yet another mid-aging defenseman when their defensive core is already pretty good.
Not to mention that Kiefer Sherwood also got traded to the Sharks.
Yeah.
Another guy they were rumored to be in on. Another guy I would have been upset if they got.
Yeah, the price was a little high on Sherwood for me.
Absolutely. But to go back to Rasmus Anderson, like I said, I didn't know much about him. Luckily, I had the pleasure of producing Morning Brew on Saturday morning, as I always do. And they were talking about Anderson, and what they were saying is it's not that bad of a deal if you were able to extend him, given how much the cap is going to go up. And that kind of got my head spinning, admittedly. Like, if you're listening to this segment every week, I don't know much about hockey. So when people tell me stuff, I'm like, okay, well, if they're saying it, then that makes all the sense in the world. And ultimately, it doesn't happen. If you were looking at 8 years for $9 million, like that just seems like way too much to commit for, like you said, an aging defenseman. Especially, not only would you have to extend him, you'd have to give up potentially Mason Lohrei and a bunch of other prospects and picks. Like it just seems like an overpay. When can you get someone else at the trade deadline? Could you focus on goal scoring? Like I think the defense has been largely pretty good throughout this win streak and a little bit before that. So can you get by if you have a couple more goal scorers? I think so. I don't know where you're at with that.
Yeah, and I mean, it just doesn't fit with the retool. Like they're retooling. The number one thing that you think of when you retool isn't let's add a 30-year-old defenseman and sign him to let's trade 2 young assets and a 1st-round pick to add a bloated middle of the road 30-plus-year-old defenseman signed to a bloated contract. Like it just doesn't line up with their timeline, and that would have signaled to me that ownership only cares about getting 1 round of playoff revenue and that's it. Because if you push this is like very clearly, we've seen the returns now on Rasmus Anderson and Kiefer Sherwood both be incredibly bloated, like to get 2 seconds in a piece for Sherwood. Obviously the Golden Knights gave up one of their top prospects, an established player in Zach Whitecloud, a 1st-round pick, and then one of their up-and-coming prospects. So for Anderson's, like this is clearly a seller's market. So the Bruins need to, much like they were last year, they need to be realistic with themselves about where they're at. This is not a team that is competing for a cup this year or maybe even next year. And right now, if they make the playoffs, they're a 1st-round exit. So you're much better served doing what you did last year and capitalizing on the seller's market and trading off some of these pieces that you don't think are a part of your future, whether that be Pavel Zacha, although I think he's a piece that you keep and build around. Any number of guys, Janot, Asamont, I think you listen on anybody. You identify the guys that are part of your culture moving forward, and then from there you trade off who's not and continue to build assets. So hopefully you don't fuck up all your draft picks like you have every year, besides a handful since Sweeney took over. And build it the right way, because teams that try to rush these retools/rebuilds always end up right back where they were in no man's land. I mean, look at the Red Wings for however long found themselves in no man's land, and now they're just finally getting back to prominence now 10 years later.
Right.
So if you're going to do it, you have to do it the right way, and you have to build up the way that every other team does. You have to suck for a year or two and then go from there. But yeah, I'm very happy that they didn't make this deal.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Once I saw like the grand scheme of things, the big picture of how everything went down, especially going to the Golden Knights and not guaranteed to even extend him past this season, I think that is way too much to give up. But they're also the Golden Knights, and they seem to get everyone.
Well, they were supposedly his preferred destination anyways.
Okay, so yeah, we could see an extension there at some point.
Yeah.
Last one here, actually. We kind of rattled through these. Number 11 for Marat Huznadinov, just to stay in shape. Bruins, I am begging you to sell Marat Huznadinov jerseys. I will buy them all. This gets me to my larger point, is I reached out on Saturday after the Blackhawks win, admittedly, a couple beers deep. It's like midnight. And I hit up the Bruins team store and I'm like, hello, I am a big Marat Huznadinov fan. And I was looking on the website. I was looking all over. Couldn't find any jerseys or shirts. Do you know where I could potentially find one? They said, I could read it word for word if you really want to. But the gist of it is, we don't have any of his jerseys and we don't plan on bringing them in anytime soon. And that's just unbelievable. Like, what are we talking about here?
Disgusting. Disgusting behavior.
It's
Nintendo, handshake emoji, Boston Bruins team store, hemorrhaging money.
Boston Red Sox.
Yes.
Three-way handshake. It's just, it's unbelievable how much money we are just burning through by refusing to bring back the Jersey Wall, refusing to bring back Mario Super Sluggers, and refusing to put out Marat Huznadinov jerseys. I would buy them all. I don't care. If you put out like 10 of them, I'll buy them in different sizes, all different sizes. Start handing them out to my friends, because everybody needs to know. Listen, the hype train is growing. I don't know why the Bruins are the last ones to get on, but I am noticing people talking Huznadinov extension. I'm noticing Huznadinov being put in the lower part of the top 10 Boston sports players under 25. Like, there's some traction around this guy, and you're not going to capitalize on that.
Arise.
Like, it's growing rapidly. I don't think anyone's appreciated the meme yet, and we're working on that. But buddy, I mean, the memes are, I'm posting it every single time he scores a goal now. Unless I'm like doing something, then maybe I'll have someone else. Maybe Zach can do it, or we'll just have to wait for the next one, because I don't think we're not gonna be waiting very long. Don't worry.
Well, dude, we're 1 for 1 on banger memes, to the point where it's getting stolen and handed out on buttons at Fenway Fest, and being adapted into Drake May. I love fun Drake May fact. I love him. Like, I just that's being put on shirts. I mean, it's too bad we didn't shore up that IP beforehand, because we could have been rolling in it. I mean, and I was talking to someone about this the other day, but like, God forbid Barstool picks up on fun Drake May fact. I love him. And it's just an adaptation of our meme, and they start making like a couple $100,000 off of people buying fun Drake May fact. I love him shirts. And that originated with, it technically originated with fun Boston Red Sox facts. They're ruining my life.
Yeah.
But then obviously grew into Roman Anthony. That's absolutely nightmare fuel to anybody at Barstool Sports listening to that. Don't let that give you any ideas to put it on a shirt.
I mean, we could be I mean, it could be Drake May, Roman Anthony, and Murat Husnudinov.
Murat
Yeah.
Husnudinov fact. I love him.
Well, I don't know if that would fit. It's
it's pretty weird.
yeah.
It's jammed all the way in. It's like size 8 font.
The funniest part is I made that meme during the Rangers game. Like, I was just messing around. Admittedly, I had an edible, and I was just seeing what I could do on Canva. I had his headshot, and I was like, how sick would some clip art, fireworks, and dinosaurs be? And that's where we're at. And we also have a Garrett Whitlock one coming. Whenever he makes his Team USA debut, you will see that as well. But bottom line, another Bruins breakdown in the books. We'll see where they're at next time. They're on a 6-game heater right now. I think probably the next time we'll talk will be right around the trade deadline, right? Or is that after the break?
No, I think the next time we record will be pretty close to Olympics.
Olympics too, yeah. Okay. So we'll have to
I think the trade deadline is after. I think a lot of teams are trying to get deals done before the break. Just because that makes it easier. Friday, March 6th at 3.
Oh, okay. So it is after the break.
Yeah. But it seems like a lot of teams are kind of pushing to get some stuff done before the break.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'd like to think that these Olympics are going to be fun, and like I think once we get into it, they're going to be fun. But the mess surrounding the arena has kind of really dampened the entire experience thus far.
Yeah, it does look like kind of a mess. Like, I was following it early on when we weren't even sure if they would be done in time, and now that they are done, it's like, why am I looking at the Jumbotron that looks like Michael Scott's plasma screen TV? Like, it's unbelievable. We'll see how it unfolds. Regardless, we will be here to break it down, as we're not going to have any Bruins hockey to talk about, and hopefully I'll be able to find that
new
one.
Open.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm excited for that. Yep. Hopefully I'll be able to watch these ones, because the World Juniors
NBC, so we'll be good.
So we're good. I got Peacock. We're good.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably have. Let's see. The last game is February 4th before they go on the Olympic break. So we'll probably do one more Bruins breakdown beforehand, I would think. Maybe.
Yeah, and what's because I think the men's hockey is the second week of the Olympics. I think women's is the first week. February 17th maybe. It looks like.
Let's see.
February 12th against Latvia. Okay.
All right. Oh yeah, this is when I couldn't read military times. It's the same website. I'm not going to try it again.
No, I think you got to give it a whirl. What do we got?
Is this the first game, February 12th?
Yeah, against Latvia.
Okay, I'm seeing it.
Yep, which is
21:10 is 9:10.
Yep, 9:10 Italia time. So it's a 3:10 puck drop in America
on a Thursday.
Looks like all the games are 3:10 here, except for the bronze medal game is 2:10, and what the fuck? The gold medal game is at 8:10 a.m. Eastern.
What day?
Sunday, February 22nd.
Oh, that's brutal. Why? What are we doing here? I mean, you have the bronze game is at a good time. That's bad.
USA Canada at 8:10 a.m. which it's such a crock of shit too, because they don't let Russia compete.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, who would be there?
That is true. Yep, they don't let Russia compete because they're big meanies to the Ukraine.
What an interesting episode of the Bruins breakdown and entering Kenmore as a whole, I think. Yeah. Do we have any final thoughts here?
I mean, like you said, what an episode. We talk some Sox, we talk some B's, we talk some C's, we talk some Drake May, we talked some national politics, we talked some geopolitics.
Tim Thomas.
And Tim Thomas. Yeah, that's the entering Kenmore difference. We're a melting pot of takes.
Yeah. So I think stay tuned for next time. Who knows what you'll get? We'll see if there's another emergency podcast in the works. At this point, I doubt it. But either way, we will be here.
Is Isaac Paredes an emergency pod worthy acquisition?
I guess if it's like a big return.
I guess we did it for Jake Bennett, Luis Perales. So I guess at that point. Yeah, I guess at that point anything is emergency episode. worthy.
So maybe we'll have an emergency pod next time, or regardless, we should be back in a week or so. As always, thanks so much for listening. We'll check in with you guys again next time.
Drake May.